Hello, my name is Roman Waits, and this video does not exist for hits or money. I just want to get some information out. Now look, I'm about to talk about a very serious subject, ending your life. And if you're here because you have that feeling that you need to end your life, I beg you to go to an emergency room right now. Turn the video off, get in your car, go to an emergency room and say, look, I want to end my life. Can I get some help, please? And if you go to that emergency room and you say that phrase, you'll get help right away. They'll put you in a queue. You'll go and you'll see a mental health professional. Potentially you'll be referred for help. There's no reason for you to end your life. There really isn't. Your life will end hopefully when you're 120 years old after living a much more happy life. So let's get that out of the way. If you're thinking in any way of ending your life, please go get some help. Talk to a friend, talk to a preacher, talk to a pastor, get in the car. I swear, get in the car, go right to the emergency room and say, look, walk up to the desk, and they're going to say, why are you here? Say, look, I'm having serious brain problems. I'm thinking about killing myself. Okay, sir, well, just let me get your name, and we will have someone see you right away. And you'll have to wait probably 2 hours because that's the way emergency rooms work now. But you get in and you start getting some help. Now, people have said, the pharmaceutical companies, the drugs that keep you from having these feelings are dangerous and stuff. Anything that keeps you fucking alive is acceptable as long as you're not hurting somebody else, okay? So fuck them. You need to stay alive, okay? Now I'm going to tell you something about staying alive. I'm going to tell you something I found out about staying alive. Every day I piss somebody off is a day worth living. Every day I walk into a place and somebody looks at me and says, oh God, here he comes again. I say, yes! Motherfucker, I'll be back here every fucking day because I want to stay alive to piss you off. You got to grab onto every little bit scrap of something to keep you alive. You deserve to be alive. God didn't put you here to kill yourself. That's the evil one telling you to do that. And it's real subtle and real evil. And it gets inside your head. And then it gets inside your soul. And every fucking day you're alive, you start thinking about, oh my God, this is awful. I can't go through this again. I can't go through another day of this. I can't go through another second of this. And it gets real, baby. I'm telling you. All these motherfuckers that talk about, oh, it's weakness to kill yourself. They have never been through it. You've been through it. So if you're here, God bless you that you made it. Because I'm telling you, you deserve to survive. They don't know what it's like. No motherfucker who makes a judgment about somebody who ended their life knows what the fuck they were going through. They don't know what it was like living inside that body and having that fucking drum every fucking day in their head. So go get some fucking help. So we're going to talk about a beautiful lady who ended her life in this video. This video might go into 2 sections. It might go into 2 parts. Because I don't know if God's going to let me condense the information that I'm about to tell you. The lady I'm talking about is Naomi Judd. A profoundly beautiful lady who raised 2 profoundly beautiful daughters. And all 3 of them are fighting battles. Naomi lost her battle. Winona and her other daughter are fighting the same battles. And it's inside of here. It's inside of your heart. It's inside of your brain. And it's this fucking voice that just won't stop pounding. And Naomi just got to the point where she said, okay, you win. I've had enough. So what we're going to get into is the last message she gave and the method that she used. And I'm going to tell you this because I want you to know. And I want to tell you this too. Don't think that because Naomi used this method that this is some kind of justification for you to do the same thing. Because it's not. Naomi lost her battle. Okay? But she battled for a lot of years. She was a warrior for a lot of years. And just because the evil one got to her in her final days doesn't mean that we should follow that same path. We should use Naomi's fight as our clarion call to not get to that point. Okay? So that's what this video is about. It's about you fucking surviving. Okay? You gotta survive. Okay? You gotta piss somebody off today and tomorrow and the next day. And here's how you piss them off. You open the door for them. You say, hi, how you doing this morning? How you doing? How's it going? You be as nice as you could possibly be. You stand in the way of all evil. And your body, your spirit, shows the shining light of God through you to your fellow man and woman. And you help people where you can help them. And you know in your heart that, hey, I did something nice for somebody today. I did that because I was here. And nobody can take that from me. I apologize if this mask looks all fucked up. I gotta say, I'm not too worried about it. This message isn't about aesthetics. It's about real life and suffering. So let's get to this. This is not going to take long. I'm really pissed off because a beautiful lady's gone, and I'm going to give you a few things that might have helped get her to that point, and they might not have anything to do with it. But I'm going to give you my version of what may have assisted her to get to the point where she was so hopeless that she felt there was no other way out. I'm also going to tell you the path, the method she used, and it's just awful. But nowhere in this do I assess any kind of negative feeling for Naomi Judd. There's no any motherfucker who talks about someone being weak because they end their life doesn't know what the person was going through. You cannot understand what they were going through. So let's get to it. Okay. So as we know, Naomi Judd, the mother of Winona Judd, I swear to God, my brain is clipping a thing. Her other daughter too. Absolutely beautiful. She ended her life, okay? And this was after a lifetime of depression. A lifetime, okay? Her last note that she wrote on a Post-it note before she ended her life was, do not let Winona, her daughter, come to the funeral. She is mentally ill. And this shows you the logic structure in her brain, okay? Because you need to understand what a Southern white woman where she comes from. What a Southern white woman who is a mother and a matriarch comes from. They are supremely responsible for everything that goes around them. That's what they feel like, okay? They feel like they need to structure everything around them and create the most beneficial path for everyone around them, their sons, their daughters, their husband, no matter what, irregardless of what happens to them. That is the beauty of a Southern woman's heart. That they would absolutely end their own life, and at the end of that life they would say something that would say, please take care of my loved one. She's very messed up. I don't want her to be grossly affected by this. Even though the disease of depression blinds her from the fact that this is going to greatly affect her and her other daughter. So that was the message on a Post-it note. Do not let Y come to the funeral. She is mentally ill. Because Naomi loved her daughters, both of them. And I just wish she was still here. There was quite a bit of planning from Naomi about this, okay? I think that the daughters, I don't think they knew that their mother was going to commit suicide. I said the word, I'm sorry, but I don't think they knew that their mother was going to do this. I think that they had feelings that this might be happening. But the biggest mistake that they made was leaving her alone in this. Because Naomi lived in her own home, alone. And then Winona lived in her home, and then her other daughter lived in another home. And leaving her alone was a huge mistake. But what I want to get to in this video is I wanted to give you this message to let you please have some heart and have some love in your heart for Naomi Judd, that she was suffering and that she made the decision she made because she was hurting. And she wasn't trying to hurt anyone else. She was just trying to end her massive suffering. Because when you're in depression, nobody can really nobody really understands what depression is like unless you've gone through it. And I've gone through it. I know the dark. I've been at the dark. I've been 1/32nd of an inch from passing away. And then I had an angel practically come to me and say, "You can always do this tomorrow." And he only said it once. "You can always do this tomorrow." And that got me 45 years in the future, was that one phrase, "You can always do this tomorrow." Naomi Judd didn't get that voice. So let's get to how Naomi Judd ended her life. She took a handgun and put it to her temple, and she ended her life. The gun she used looks to me to be a Smith & Wesson M&P Compact 9mm. It looks like the gun was loaded with one bullet because the slide was locked back in the pictures, which means that when the last bullet is fired out of a semi-automatic so that it can be reloaded again with a new magazine, the slide locks back. And what this does is when you pull the empty mag out and you slam the new mag in, the gun automatically closes with a bullet in the chamber. So it indicates to me that there was only one bullet in the magazine. The picture of her bed and stuff is, you don't need to see that. It's just a bunch of blood and it's awful. The bottom line here is that Naomi Judd got into a situation where she felt that the only way she could escape the massive mental anguish she was suffering was to end her life. And that simply is not true. It's a lie that depression tells every person who suffers with depression. That's that lie. Every time, now I tell you this story, I tell you suicide. This is suicide, what suicide is. Suicide is your body. The thought of suicide is your body telling your brain, you got to go get help. As soon as that thought gets into your brain, that's your body saying, please go get help. Please go get help. Please. Don't wait. Don't screw around. Don't start thinking about other things. Don't put it off to the side. Don't say, oh, I'm just being a weak person. No, that's bullshit. Everybody on this planet can go through depression. All it takes is a certain exposure to certain chemicals or certain lack of certain nutrition in your diet, or something horrific happening in your life that actually drains the chemicals out of your brain from stress. See, this is something nobody ever talks about bad events in someone's life. I mean, if you get SA'd, I got to say SA'd for YouTube. If you get SA'd in a young age for numerous years, that absolutely affects your brain. It actually changes the chemical structure of your brain because it's so horrific that you have to deal with that. Okay? So for the rest of your life, you're in this battle of trying to get that chemical that gives you that stability in your brain back, because this piece of crap who attacked you has actually attacked your brain while they have attacked your body. So here's another thing that's going on in today's environment that makes people unable to stop that downward spiral into trying to end their life. We have a lot of artificial chemicals in our food supply. A lot of them. And they're there for one damn reason. to make the food companies money. That's the only reason they're there. And they don't give a damn about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your grandparents. They don't care about your parents. All they want to do is they want to make that money. Two of the chemicals I'm going to tell you about, one of them specifically may have contributed to Naomi not being able to recover from the massive depression that she was suffering. Potentially, Naomi's mind was poisoned by diet sodas, Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke for decades. Because that soda, Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke and Diet Mountain Dew and Diet Dr. Pepper, contains the drug. It's a drug, aspartame. Now, why do I call it a drug when everybody says it's a sweetener? Well, because it's addictive, like a drug. It's as addictive as heroin. And they know it. And it's very cheap to make. It's an artificial chemical. It has no reason to be in your body, period. And what it does is it affects the way that the brain uses its energy supply, glucose, and the way that the neurons fire in your brains. The NutraSweet, that artificial chemical, gets in the way of where the glucose and the signals go in the brain, and it creates depression. And it creates edema, which is swelling in the body. Because the edema is the body's attempt to wick the aspartame away from all the vital tissues because you're being poisoned. So you gain weight, ironically, from drinking NutraSweet. You gain water weight because the body is saying, this is poison. Why are you doing this? Don't do this. But you don't know that because nobody's ever fucking told you, okay? So, Splenda sucralose, same thing. It's killing people too. Now, what will happen with Splenda sucralose if you drink enough of it? Well, there's this unique little problem that happens with Splenda sucralose if you find out that you're allergic to it. You will start coughing up white foam and you will be unable to drink water. You will only be able to continue ingesting the sucralose. Any soda or substance that has a sucralose. It is a very bizarre physical phenomenon that will kill you if you don't get away from the sucralose. So, aspartame, Diet Pepsi, and Diet Coke might have helped convince Naomi because her brain was unable to heal, was unable to get over that mountaintop of depression, that this was the only way to go. And this is why I'm telling you this. Because if you're drinking this crap and you're dealing with depression, it's very, very bad for you. It's very bad for you, okay? Aspartame causes edema. It causes mental confusion. They've even done a study where young women were drinking aspartame, and it was actually causing 20% of the women were getting blood clots. That's from aspartame. Now, Splenda sucralose will cause you to vomit up a white foam because Splenda sucralose is such a wonderful pesticide to your stomach. It kills your stomach biome. And then it attacks your freaking brain. So, I'm sorry that I'm emotional about this because Naomi Judd should still be here. But when you put her in an environment that's full of nutritional toxins, and then on top of that you have doctors who are prescribing her mental medications and all these other things, and she's eating a low-fat diet because she has to stay thin, see? She has to stay away from the natural fats that nourish her brain. And this is something else I want to tell you. If you are suffering from depression, if you get on a low-fat diet and you start drinking these poisons, it will kill you. It will kill you. You have to have natural fats. You have to have natural foods so that your body can extract the nutrition it needs to keep you healthy. So there's, the funny part about the diet industry is a lot of what they sell is absolute nutritional poison. It's absolutely nutritional poison. Have you ever read the ingredients list of a diet food? It has, some of them have 50 chemicals in them. It's crazy. So, God bless.